Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where two friends get together and talk about the story behind the matches. I'm Matt.
And I'm Michael.
Welcome to episode 17, the main event number 1.
It's Saturday night main event.
It's not. It's the main event.
I thought it was Saturday night main event.
Because the main event was a spin-off of Saturday Night Main Event.
Okay.
That aired in primetime live on a Friday night.
Okay, well that makes sense later on.
And it was on February 5th, 1988, and it was produced by the WWF, of course. And it was held at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana.
This crowd is hot.
Hot.
They're yeah, this crowd is pretty lit. Yeah.
Sizzling. So this
surprised.
Broadcast would draw a 15.2 Nelson rating and 33 million viewers, both records for American televised wrestling.
Holy shit, that's insane. That's
one third of who watched the Super Bowl the week before.
Ugh, that's crazy. Damn, no wonder that crowd was so goddamn hot.
February 5th, some things that happened around then. The classic John Hughes film, She's Having a Baby.
I've never seen that. I've seen a lot of John Hughes movies. I haven't seen that one.
I know, that was the joke behind the classic part.
Okay, like who's in that movie? Is that like an early? No, I guess it's a later one.
It's
right?
a later one. It was actually released the same day as this show, and no one went and saw it because they were all watching this show.
Yeah, because one third of sports fans.
And the 1988 Winter Olympics from Calgary would start the very next week. So the show opens. Let's just get right into it because this is a short show.
Yeah, it's like 50 minutes. The production is so good.
Production's really good.
It's so good. The intros are so...
The show opens and we get basically like Macho Man, Honky Tonk Man, Ted DiBiase, and Andre.
Yeah, like everybody that's going to be on the show.
And Hulk Hogan, all cutting promos with like logos.
Yeah, and like the Andre logo with the hand. And like even the Hulk logo looks better than like the Hulk logo on the t-shirts and stuff. It's also good.
It was really cool to see these logos.
Yeah. And they'll like do the cuts of like them, like they obviously recorded on a green screen, but then they like play it over top of like the live crowd.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It looks fucking awesome. It looks so good.
It looks great.
It looks so goddamn good.
And then we get a video package of all of our competitors from the evening. And then the main event logo appears. And then at the very end, we get a Hogan pose. Which, of course, you got to get a Hogan pose, right?
Hogan must pose.
That's why everyone's watching the show. So Vince McMahon welcomes us to the main event and is joined by Jesse the Body Ventura to preview our matches for the night. And we're told that Jesse just flew in from Hollywood. And my question is, did TSA really let him through with that hat?
It was so weird. Because it looked like it was just like, I don't know. But I didn't see the point until later on. Because there's like a weird point to it. Very bizarre hat. I don't know what that hat is.
What was the point of it later?
The hat?
Yeah.
I know. I just meant there's a point to that.
Oh,
like not a point to that, but there's a point. Like the hat, I just thought it was kind of like a.
I thought you meant like.
I thought it was just like went around or whatever, and was like I thought it was
hat.
flat on the top, but like because it's older and the shot on film, so it's probably darker than stuff now that's digital. But the so there's like an actual like the hat goes to a point, and it was weird.
I got you now.
Yeah.
We then get a video package of Hogan training, which goes probably about a couple minutes too long.
No, it's amazing.
It's great, but it still goes
because it's in like real time, and then it like does this like thing where it's like basically like it's just a bunch of like screen caps, but like played really fast, so it kind of looks like flipbook style, like kind of like choppy animation of him working out. It fucking rules. I loved every second of it. And I'm not a Hogan stan.
I mean, the best part about it was the ending, because like all of a sudden he's like, there's like some creepy lighting, like it's like dark but like flashlight almost just on Hogan, and then he starts laughing, and it's like it's like a creepy laugh, like
it's like it gets a moderately sinister for Hogan.
Yeah. Then we go to Mean Gene, who's in the back with Honky Tonk Man and Jimmy Hart, and Honky Tonk Man says Miss Elizabeth is in love with him.
Yeah. I think Honky says that Macho is lucky that he doesn't play the piano, which I thought was really funny. Because it's like, oh, well, I'm going to smash my fucking guitar on you at some point. But you're lucky I don't play the piano, because piano weighs more.
Honky Tonk Man also says, I've got the title, I've got the belt, tonight I'm going to get the woman, the lonely woman.
Oh.
And then he starts quoting other Elvis songs.
That's a highlight for sure. Because he does it like in a row, like it
was like 5 or 6
in conversation. Yeah. He even does like in the ghetto. He hits all the big ones.
Yeah. And then Mean Gene is in the back with Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, and Mean Gene asks Miss Elizabeth if she's worried, but Savage answers for her, and he says, "It's time for us to enter the danger zone. And vengeance is mine, saith the Macho Man." That's what his last line was. I was just like, that's the Macho Man. Great.
God.
So obviously our first match, Honky Tonk Man with Jimmy Hart and Peggy Sue versus Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth for the WWF Intercontinental title.
Is Peggy Sue in the Hall of Fame?
Peggy Sue is Sensational Sherry.
I know, I was setting you up.
We've seen a Sensational Sherry match.
We have. But yeah, it's funny. She really sells it so hard she dances in the ring later. It's fucking pretty amazing how hard she sells it.
But as I like to mention, every time this happens,
I'm listening.
The champion comes out first. Foreshadowing?
Yeah.
Peggy Sue is announced as Honky Tonk's girlfriend.
Which is so weird. It's like why is she even there if he's like shaking his junk at Elizabeth the whole night, which is what he does the whole time.
Like, wouldn't she have a problem?
Yeah, she goes in there does the twist with him.
I mean, is she into polyamory?
The entrance is like him and her just like doing the twist, and she like sells it hard. Like she's not half-assing it at all.
No,
she's like fucking bopping.
So the entire crew is dancing along with Honky Tonk's song, and he grabs the mic and starts singing along.
Yeah, it's obviously not mic'd, but it's funny.
And then behind Savage's back, Honky Tonk Man, Savage makes his way to the ring, and Honky Tonk Man gets into the ring and is dancing for Miss Elizabeth behind Savage's back.
Yeah, he's like doing some gyrating shit.
And then Savage starts the match by chasing Honky Tonk Man around the outside. Savage guillotines Honky Tonk with the rope by jumping over and onto the floor. And then we see Jimmy Hart try to slow it down, but Savage gives him and Honky Tonk a double noggin knocker. Savage trying to get back in the ring when Hart grabs his leg and Honky Tonk starts throwing punches. But we get a sunset flip, but Savage stays on his feet and punches down.
Oh, that's good. I love a like hold steady from a sunset flip and then just deck him in the mouth. It's like the reverse of like the Gold Dust spot where he like slides under you and then like slaps you from underneath.
Macho Man and Honky Tonk with multiple Irish whip reversals, which finally sends Honky Tonk into the corner. Savage charges in, but Honky Tonk moves and Randy hits the turnbuckle. Hart then jumps on the apron and Savage goes to hit him and then begins chasing him around the outside. Hart jumps back in the ring, dropping his megaphone and runs out the other side, with Savage still chasing him. Honky Tonk picks up the megaphone, and hits Macho Man over the head. Honky Tonk stops to dance for Elizabeth before making the cover, and we only get a 2 count. Savage is running the ropes, but Honky Tonk gives a knee to the gut, sending Randy to the floor. And then Honky Tonk hits a double axe handle off the apron to the floor. Honky Tonk keeps going over to dance for Elizabeth while Hart's choking Savage from the outside. And then Honky Tonk jumps down to the floor and starts walking towards Elizabeth. But Macho Man recovers and is running around the outside and hits Honky Tonk from behind.
Does anybody run around a ring better or faster than Macho Man?
I mean, literally the only other two people that I've ever seen do that spot on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, you see it.
Lashley and Strowman, and both of them, whatever.
Lashley has potential. Braun Strowman should be thrown in the ocean.
Savage then tosses Honky Tonk over the top rope and then hits a top rope double axe handle to the outside. Body slam, and then Macho Man goes for another top rope axe handle for only a 2 count. Hart's back up on the apron. Savage pulls him into the ring and starts attacking him. And Honky Tonk comes from behind to hit a flying knee, but Savage moves and Honky Tonk hits Jimmy Hart.
Bum, bum, bum.
Macho Man locks on the sleeper in the middle of the ring, and Peggy Sue starts berating Elizabeth on the outside, and Savage comes out to break it up.
Which is weird. He's like, hey, I'm gonna fuck with the... I guess it's not weird for her to yell at the girl that her boyfriend is trying to pick up, but at the same time, she should just probably leave her boyfriend.
True.
The logic is very bizarre.
It's very bizarre. So Savage throws Honky Tonk into the ring post on the outside, and the bell rings, and Macho Man is the winner by countout.
Oh, it's done really well. It's like they're like 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever, and then he throws him into the pole, and Macho Man slips in, and you can't recover. And it's like, oh, I would like to see some spots like that more often, because they're decent spots. Because a lot of countouts are just 19, and then they run in, or 10, depending on if it's in Japan or America. But either way, it's like why don't you just roll out and fucking stomp their face in, or throw them into the crowd at 18 and roll back in? So I thought that was really refreshing and well done. Also, Honky gets I think he might have got a little bit of organic blood on one of his temples. There's a spot where it looked like he might have been a little colored.
So post-match, Honky Tonk gets back in the ring with the guitar, but Hart jumps on the apron and hits Savage with the megaphone from behind. And Elizabeth has crawled into the ring and is checking on Savage. Honky Tonk goes to hit Savage with the guitar, but stops when he sees Elizabeth in front of Savage. And Honky Tonk contemplates it for a moment.
So fucking
But then he decides to go ahead and swing the guitar.
It's so fucking good.
But Savage jumps up and blocks it, kicks Honky Tonk, takes the guitar, and swings it. But Honky Tonk is rolled out of the ring.
Macho smashes it on the turnbuckle.
Yeah, then he smashes it on the turnbuckle. And then Elizabeth has made her way back out to the outside at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Macho Man
this is the best.
Goes, and instead of Elizabeth holding the ropes for Macho Man to get in,
it's so fucking good.
He holds the ropes for Elizabeth to get into the ring.
It seriously made me feel shit.
And then lifted her up onto his shoulder, as they celebrate the victory.
And Elizabeth's acting, her cell of emotion on her face in promos during matches is probably unparalleled. Fucking, it's especially in pay-per-views and stuff. I think it's been harder to notice because these shows are shot differently. But man, I was so fucking impressed.
So, do you want to hear some deep, dark secrets for why this match happened the way it happened?
Of course I do.
So, originally, Macho Man was supposed to win this match and take the title. But Honky Tonk basically pulled some political stuff in the back and was like, I'll go to the NWA with the title. But
they can just be like, yo, dude. I mean, I don't know.
Back then, I guess the contracts weren't as secure, basically.
It's weird. That's like I said, one of the reasons we love wrestling is because of the extra fun behind the scenes stuff. But it's also I don't know if that's true, but it's fun to talk about. So
because of that, Macho Man was basically not given this belt, but things would happen in the future for him.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that
in the future. Yeah.
Laying the foreshadowing out there. Teasing you for the next episode, basically. So then we head back to Vince and Jesse, who review the history of Hulk and Andre, and we see a lot of stuff that we've already seen.
They recap WrestleMania 3, the 3 count, the Andre 3 count still.
The choking from behind that we saw.
Yeah. But
the footage of the contract signing, which we saw in our last episode. Yeah. And then Mean Gene's in the back with Ted DiBiase, Virgil, and Andre the Giant. And DiBiase says, The ref was a Hulkamoron.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's such a great line. And your account is overdrawn, and Andre is gonna close it.
Yup. It's like, yeah, money makes the man. Fucking nickel and dime. Yeah, it's good.
And then Mean Gene's with Hogan. I don't have any quotes from Hogan other than he called DiBiase the multi-million-dollar man instead of just the $1 million man.
Yeah, he says it's just a 2 count. He says a weird thing where he says, like...
I mean, it's your typical Hogan promo type thing.
Yeah, he says something about, like, losing, like, profit-sharing plan or something like that. It's really weird. But, you know, he was probably doing really good cocaine at the time.
So we're on to our second match of the show. Andre the Giant with Ted DiBiase and Virgil versus Hulk Hogan for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. And the story behind this match, kind of been following it along, but during that match, that was WrestleMania 3, it seemed that Andre had gotten the 3 count early on in the match, so he felt like he had won. The feud continued throughout the year until Ted DiBiase came along and offered Hogan money for the belt. Hogan turned him down, so the $1 million man did the next best thing. He bought Andre's contract from Bobby Heenan and convinced him to give him the belt once Andre defeated Hogan.
It's so good and dumb and, like, perfect for the DiBiase things. Like, fucking, if you're not going to entertain me, I'm just going to fucking buy it. I'll just find a way to get it.
And I don't know if you noticed
I kick basketballs away from children. I make mothers bark or whatever. It's like he's a fucking he's a beautiful scumbag.
He's a good POS. I don't know if you noticed this, and I don't know if our fans out there noticed it either, but it's a new belt around Hogan's waist.
Yeah,
as he's walking.
It looks like the mid to late '90s belt.
It's the
wing, like the eagle belt.
Yep. Yeah, it's the winged eagle belt.
Yeah, but it's not exactly the same. I think it's a little different. I don't know, but I noticed.
It's the one that's around until Stone Cold. So it's around for a good.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's the same. I think it's cool. I think it's the same design, but I don't know if it's the same exact belt. I think they might change it a little bit.
They might. I don't.
But well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Either way, I noticed the belt.
So Hogan gets to the ring, and we get at least 5 minutes of posing. All while Andre and his
That's why I was singing Real American, because it just goes on forever.
Andre's stalling and getting some last-minute words of advice from DiBiase when Hogan comes over and hits Andre.
Andre's stare down is great because he's just not entertaining any of Hogan's bullshit. He's looking at him like he's gonna murder him.
Hulk then gives a double noggin knocker to Virgil and DiBiase, snapmares Virgil into the ring, and then slingshots $1 Million Man into the ring. Hulk then Irish whips Virgil and gives the big boot and does the same to DiBiase, knocking them both out of the ring.
Oh, so the most physical shit in the match happens in the first 2 minutes, and it doesn't involve Andre.
Pretty much.
But it's good. I still like it.
So we get a bunch of right hands and chops to Andre. Hulk slams the Giant's head into the turnbuckle a couple of times. Elbows to the head and a clothesline.
Yeah.
Nothing is knocking Andre
down.
No,
you can't. Yeah, it's like you can't cut the tree down, and it's done really well.
DiBiase and Virgil both jump up on the apron, and Hogan dispatches them with punches. And then we get a clothesline into the corner by Hulk that has Andre wobbly. Hogan goes to the top rope, but Andre grabs him by the throat and press slams Hulk. Andre then goes for a falling headbutt.
Oh, yeah.
But Hogan moves. Hulk goes for the cover, but Andre grabs him by the throat again.
It's so good. It's before. It's before. As he doesn't even actually cover. He goes down for the cover, but Andre just does a horror movie Michael Myers after you kill him type of vibe. Like when the Undertaker sits up, which is they took from Halloween or whatever. But he does that, but with just an arm, where he goes to cover him, and in him covering him, he just puts his fist up and grabs his neck, and it looks great.
So Andre just keeps putting the chokehold on while the ref gives the 5 count, and then he releases it and
does it again.
Puts it right back on. Andre with the body slam and kicks to the back has the Giant in control. Andre hits with the Irish whip and big boot to Hulk, but Hogan rolls out to the floor. And Virgil is over and tosses Hulk back into the ring, because obviously...
Why would he not do that?
Can't win unless you're in the ring.
Yeah, good on you, Virgil.
Andre continues to choke Hogan, and then Hogan is hulking up, and he gives a knee to the midsection to escape the choke.
What do you think it sounds like when Hulk Hogan hulks up?
Hulk hammering Andre's face and goes to the second rope for a flying clothesline that knocks the giant down.
Oh, timber!
Hogan goes to come off the ropes for the leg drop, but Virgil grabs his leg. Dave Hebner, the ref, is reprimanding Virgil, while Hogan goes off to the other side of the ropes and hits the leg drop. Hogan's covering Andre, but the ref is still arguing with Virgil. Andre gets back up while Hogan is now arguing with the ref. The Giant starts giving headbutts to the back of Hulk's head and then gives a double underhook suplex and goes to the pin. Hebner's counting, and you can see Hogan gets his shoulder up at the count of 1, but the ref just keeps on counting for the 3 count.
So you can't lift out of that Andre.
The ref raises the arm of Andre and no. Post-match, Hogan is pleading with Hebner to no avail. Even Howard Finkel and Mean Gene are yelling at Hebner as well. On the outside, Hebner makes his way around the ring and hands the belt to Andre. Mean Gene then jumps on the apron to interview Andre, and Andre gives the belt to $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
And no! I wasn't ready for that one.
Hogan's coming after everybody, but Hebner gets in the way, so Hulk picks him up and sets him back down behind him, and then returns to going after DiBiase, who has jumped down to the floor. Behind all of this, we see another ref join Hebner in the ring.
Bum bum bum.
Vince says, "Is that Dave Hebner? Or is that Dave Hebner?" It's the Spider-Man meme come to life, guys.
Yeah, the story of 2 Daves. A tale of 2 Daves.
Hogan sees the 2 refs and starts pointing fingers and grabs both of them, interrogating them. The 2 refs get into a shoving match when, quote, Dave Hebner kicks the other ref out, which convinces Hogan that he's not the real Dave Hebner. Hogan then grabs the fake Dave Hebner, press slams him over the top rope onto DiBiase and Virgil on the outside.
Okay, he threw him like fucking 15 feet.
He threw him away.
And like those guys like kind of had a hand up, but like he basically threw him over them. It was an intense bump, which spoilers, it wasn't the real Dave Hebner, because real Dave Hebner probably couldn't have took that bump. It was the skinny Dave Hebner. Imposter Hebner.
Is that the imposter Dave Hebner kicks the real Dave Hebner, and it actually injures him, that he's out for a little while.
Really? Because the real
press slam of the fake Dave Hebner to the outside, which looked insane.
It looked terrifying. I texted you, I was like, yo, did he die?
Fine.
I watched it like 4 times in a row. I was like, all right, back, okay. Like, that was nuts. Let me do this again.
So then we go to the back. Mean Gene's back there. Hulk Hogan. He's fake crying.
Yeah, he's selling it well. How upset he is.
Best line, though.
What is it?
How much money did they spend on plastic surgery, man?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, what is he saying? He's like saying that it's fake, like, because they didn't spend money on actual plastic surgery. It's an allegory.
So,
but it's weird.
If you know who the Hebners are, there are, and we've talked about, Dave Hebner has been in the WWF for a long time. Mm-hmm. Earl Hebner was his twin brother, and he's actually been the ref on NWA shows. We've talked about him before on there. And he actually was a ref at the Bunkhouse Stampede, which was his last show with the NWA, because he then came to the WWE and was with them for like almost 20 years at that point. But there's more to that story, but we'll talk about it more when we get to...
So yeah, the plastic surgery thing was funny.
WrestleMania 4.
It was a weird allegory for Hulk to make. It made more sense than a lot of his other allegories.
So then we get a third match. Strike Force, Rick Martel and Tito Santana versus the Hart Foundation of Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart with Jimmy Hart.
And this is right after a commercial break.
Right after the commercial break.
After Hulk says, plastic surgery, brother.
And it's for the WWF Tag Team Championship. We see Strike Force make their way to the ring. And then actually from there it went to the Hogan interview.
Yeah, and then the commercial.
And then it goes to commercial. And we join the match in progress. Mm-hmm. Martel knocks Hart down, goes to run the ropes, but Neidhart grabs him and Bret gives him a gut shot. Santana then jumps in the ring and runs across to hit Neidhart, but the ref gets in the way and makes sure Tito goes back to his corner. Hart then hits a pile driver on Martel.
It's the most solid pile driver.
And as this is happening, Vince is having to say goodbye, even though the match was in progress.
Yeah, and the credits start
because
roll.
of TV time limits.
Uh-huh.
Hart gets a cover, only a 2 count, and that is actually the last thing that the live TV audience sees.
Oh, really?
As the show had to cut out.
Is it 2 count? But we see 5 seconds more
after when the WWE Network uploaded this show, they added in the rest of the match.
But it's not much.
It's not much. Literally, this is what it happens. Hart Irish whips Martel, but there's a reversal, and Bret sunset flips, but Rick drops his knees down for the pin and the win. So, Michael Temple.
Yes.
Overall thoughts of the main event number 1.
The only main. Is this the first main event, or
is this the first main event?
Or is this the first main event we've covered?
Show called the main event.
Okay, I thought it was a Saturday night main event, so I was like, oh, okay. But because I think that's what it's under on the network, possibly. But I will.
Yeah, if you're watching along with this, it's under Saturday night main event.
Yeah,
under February.
It says
5th.
Main event on the side or whatever, but it's it's got a different feel. This is great. That's a solid way to spend 50 minutes. I will say that the Andre Hogan match here, better than Andre Hogan at WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 3 is more people are more excited. It's a bigger deal, but this is way more entertaining, even with all of the even with all of the sweaty dumb shit, all of your excuses, your covering people's asses. It's way more entertaining. It's super fun, and it's I don't mind dumb shit if I can understand what's happening. Yeah, or if it's it's just not completely nonsensical. It's this has a little bit of nonsensicality, if that's a word, which it definitely is not. But this is so much more enjoyable than the WrestleMania 3 match. But it wouldn't be the same without the WrestleMania 3 match. So I will say that. I will say that. It's this in a vacuum, not worth your time. But if you've watched Hulk Andre at WrestleMania 3 and you haven't watched this match, you're doing yourself a disservice, because it not only is better than that match, but it makes that match feel like it was worth more.
Agreed.
And I wish it would have been more on. I wish it would have been on a pay-per-view so people could talk about it more.
So the reason we watched this show
because of this match.
Because of the historical significance of this show.
Yeah, because Andre dirty wins the belt.
Exactly.
And also Ted DiBiase.
Hogan is no longer the champion for the first time in 4 years.
It's insanity.
Huge. And like you said, and I completely agree, this match completely better than the WrestleMania 3 match.
Oh, it's so fucking good. And the thing is, they didn't do anything. The WrestleMania 3 match tried to be too epic, where this match is 2 guys just hitting each other. Sometimes is all you need.
So, I completely enjoyed this show. It's 50 minutes of just fun matches. I mean, I didn't love the finish of the Honky Tonk Macho Man match.
But it really, this whole show makes you, if you've only ever seen Honky Tonk on, pay-per-views, this really makes you understand why Honky Tonk is great.
Exactly.
And it's holy crap,
but
he's fucking good.
What I was going, if we don't have that count-out finish, we may not have the moment after the match with the ropes and the holding of Elizabeth on the shoulders,
which leads to your
which is a classic moment.
I honestly I got teary. Elizabeth is potentially the best actress outside of outside of physical performance, the best face
reactions.
The best face actor, which is the thing. Is that some people are just good at reacting on screen and contorting their face around. But Elizabeth in this was there's nobody makes me feel things by not saying anything as much as she does. She's so good. She also has Randy next to her, but it's man, fucking yeah. It's not peanut butter and jelly. It's whatever those two opposite things are. It's hot sauce and peanut butter. It's oh, that sounds terrible. but we like both of those things.
Exactly.
And somehow they're making it work. It's very bizarre. But, like, I was so fucking impressed by Elizabeth's face. Just what she did with her face throughout the match, every time the camera was on her. Like, even her on the... She always does it in promos, but, like, outside of the ring, I feel like this was, like, kind of the closest we got to managers with a camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the production on the show was insane. Did you get a mosquito bit? We're still outside. We got the bug spray out and the citronella candle. I just caught it midair and then launched it on the ground, and it made a sound when it hit.
Good. Where's the smart marks at?
There.
All right. Fuck you.
So I think it's time for us to smark it up. Best moments of this night?
I mean, I just built up Elizabeth.
Yeah,
but
Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, like, when it comes down to
and
it...
that whole moment.
Yeah, that match was really good. The, like, Hogan-Andre is really, really great. The best part of the show is Hogan-Andre. Undeniable.
That's the best match of the show?
Undeniable. That's, like, the best match. It's fucking really great. And the thing is, like, you can't just skip to it. You should watch the whole show because it kind of builds it up well. It's fun. And the whole show's none of the show's bad. But the Macho Honky stuff is, like, kind of, like, it's not, like, a, like, Steamboat Macho classic, but it does different stuff really well, and it really makes you understand, because everyone's like, oh, well, like, Honky can't work, and it's like, well, Honky can work,
but he can tell a story.
but he can work better than some people that couldn't tell a story that have been bigger than him.
Most disappointing moments, any?
That
the tag match didn't get to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna split hairs there. There's nothing bad about this. Like, if you watch WrestleMania 3, you should watch all 50 minutes of this.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you're missing out.
Best performer of the night, I think we're both in agreement. Miss Elizabeth, best performer of the night, and maybe even Ted DiBiase, because just his work as well.
Macho at this point in time, Macho's always going to deliver. It's kind of one of those things like it's like Steamboat. It's like, oh well, like no one's ever going to give him number one because he's like so consistent. But like for me personally, I would say Elizabeth like made me feel shit that I wasn't ready to feel, and I was like, oh, like fuck, man. Like, just the shit she did with her face seemed way too real for wrestling in the 80s, especially, like, WWF. Like, it's cartoony. Like, it was a Honky Tonk Man match. Also, Honky Tonk Man deserves some major props for this performance. For his promo, like, and stuff. Like, it's like, man, yeah. This is good. And honestly, when I was watching this, I was like, I think that maybe we should just watch Saturday Night Main Event and like skip the pay-per-views because the amount of like
bad matches that we'd watch.
Well, no, just the character development and like the promos are so well done, and like they're so fun, and like in pay-per-views there's more of a like time issue. It's live, blah blah blah. Like they don't sell the matches as well. It'll be different later on as it evolves, but like it was just so fun to watch those interviews and those promos and stuff, and it was like really good. It's like oh, like I've watched Honky Tonk Man matches, but seeing Honky Tonk Man promo and like a long intro where he's just like being the heel that he is, it's like, okay, well I like it now. Well, now I like him.
Surprising moments or most surprising? Anything surprising at all that Hogan lost?
I mean, yeah, that was surprising for sure. I mean, obviously his shoulder was hella up, but I was surprised.
The Hebner twist?
Because you told me, you were like, okay, we're going to watch this show. And I was like, all right. Like, well, that whole match was surprising. Everything about it was pretty surprising. The, like, Hebner twist.
The question, I got a question. In watching the match, did you realize that wasn't Dave Hebner?
Yeah, because I'm watching it, like, I think it would be different, like, with with an old CRT, like, tube television and stuff. But, like, one of the guys, they look kind of similar, but one of them's, like, 40 pounds more than the other guy.
Yeah, it's
true. Like, it's very obvious. But, it's also, like, Underfaker. It's like, well, we know that's not the Undertaker. But they did it, and it was a good idea at the time because...
What are you talking about? Those were the same people.
Oh, yeah.
The entire time. Not breaking kayfabe. And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The Dusty Finish.
With fixed matches, planned finishes, exciting moves, and innovative match outcomes, the Goldust Trio began to build new stars. But what was the point of new stars if Ed Lewis was their guy? In the early days, promoters could pack a venue with a single heavily promoted match. But by the 1920s, with the waning interest in wrestling, a single match wasn't enough. So the Goldust Trio began to promote entire cards, not just matches. Events were still anchored around those title defenses, but the other matches featured those very wrestlers that Ed Lewis had legitimized with the time limit draws and double countouts. With more variety in wrestlers, the Goldust Trio made the next big step, booking bigger venues and making more money. So next week, WrestleMania 4.
Oh shit, we're going to WrestleMania 4? So we're doing like three WWF shows in a row? We did like two...
Like, we did 2 WCW shows, or
yeah,
NWA shows.
NWA shows, yeah.
And now 3 WWF shows in a row. We try and keep it kind of flip-flop back and forth.
I mean, it's
so it
whenever
stays fresh.
Whenever it happens, so.
But things just happen. We're going in chronological order, basically.
You want to tease me? What's the
WrestleMania 4?
What's the headlining match? WrestleMania 4.
Well, let's just say there are a lot of matches, and $1 Million Man does not start the night as the champion, but he had the belt at the end of this show.
So is there something we watch in between this?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'm asking
there's a story.
So if you tell me the like last match, the heavyweight match, it's gonna be
it's a spoiler.
So, like what it is.
If I tell you what the main event is,
it's fine.
It's a spoiler.
Okay. Like it's one of those things. Like as soon as I start it up and like sit on my couch, I'm like, oh, I've heard of this or I've seen this, but maybe not. I prefer to like go in cold. It's more fun that way.
I know you do. And that's why I'm not telling you.
Well,
that's why I'm not telling you, listeners, either.
Thank you for being a friend.
If you like the music from this week's show, you can. It's the main event theme song. Because actually,
buy it on iTunes. It's probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
You can find
Listen to it on YouTube.
You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then Strike Force won our main event, our last match that we watched. So I'm playing their theme song.
Wait, what?
Strike Force Hart
Strike
was
Force
the last match that we watched.
Okay.
And Strike Force won.
What does their theme song sound like?
Their theme song is called Girls in Cars by Robbie Dupree.
So is it kind of like Girls on Film? I like that song. Girls on Film. You know that song?
I don't think it sounds exactly like that, but you're probably hearing it right now.
Oh.
You can always rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Podcoin, or wherever you find your podcasts at. You can always email us at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX. We'll talk to you next week.